because he continues to lie to the world about what I said and who I was pointing the finger at.
Like, never even cashed a check still. Have $100 million that I never even cashed before. I have a tax attorney that takes care of everything, and everything is okay.
Nah, I'm not with you. Yeah, we're taking him to court.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So other than
See you in the courtroom. Congrats, you're going to prison, Floyd.
The boxing world was thrown into complete disbelief after unexpected accusations involving Floyd Mayweather suddenly began making headlines. During a live segment on ESPN, analyst Stephen A. Smith made major claims, discussing what he described as leaked financial documents connected to Mayweather. According to the allegations, those records point toward a possible link to a massive $42 million financial issue. The situation quickly gained momentum online, with speculation growing that investigators could now be looking into the matter and that potential legal consequences may be on the horizon. Stephen A. Smith, who has questioned Mayweather's lavish spending habits in the past, suggested that the situation may run much deeper than many people realize. If the claims are accurate, it could represent a major turning point for one of the most successful and untouchable names in boxing history. Fans around the world remain shocked, trying to understand how the undefeated champion's reputation could suddenly be surrounded by this level of controversy. With new developments continuing to emerge, attention is now focused entirely on what happens next. Stay tuned, because this story is still unfolding.
Floyd Mayweather has had for not paying someone money. Check this out.
Yeah. So we're gonna sue Floyd Mayweather.
Throughout the years, Floyd Mayweather has repeatedly been linked to discussions surrounding legal matters and financial concerns. At one stage, he revealed that his lawyers had advised him not to publicly address certain issues, assuring him they would handle the situation privately behind closed doors. Despite remaining quiet publicly, Mayweather never showed signs of distancing himself from the extravagant lifestyle he's famous for. He continued expressing that his passion for success and luxury had not faded at all. From private aircraft to enormous properties, he made it known that walking away from the elite lifestyle he created was never part of the plan. Even while his legal team reportedly dealt with matters away from public attention, Mayweather's mentality appeared unchanged. He stressed the importance of keeping financial matters confidential, while also making it clear that safeguarding his wealth remained one of his biggest priorities. The situation highlights an interesting contrast. On one side is a quiet legal approach designed to avoid public attention. On the other is an unshaken determination to maintain riches, influence, and the image that has defined his career. As rumors continue circulating and scrutiny increases, Mayweather still appears fully committed to moving forward without slowing down. Ultimately, it paints a broader picture of the pressures that come with worldwide fame. And in Mayweather's case, the chase for greater wealth, status, and luxury continues to appear stronger than any challenge standing in front of him.
Still got my private jets. I still have all my beautiful homes, still have all my properties everywhere, and still making millions every month.
So you didn't take this fight because you needed the money?
Actually, I didn't even want this. The fans demanded this fight. You know, at one particular time, and of course, with this fight, of course, I do want to make a ton of money.
Even with constant speculation surrounding his name, Floyd Mayweather insisted that his business empire remains as strong as ever. He confidently stated that his private aircraft are still operating, his multi-million-dollar properties are secure, and his investment around the world continue bringing in enormous monthly income. When questions came up about whether financial motives were behind his most recent fight, Mayweather rejected that narrative. He explained that returning to the ring was driven more by public demand than personal need. At the same time, he made it clear that if he does compete, a huge financial reward is naturally expected to be part of the deal. At the same time, Stephen A. Smith has consistently spoken highly of Mayweather's accomplishments inside the sport. Over the years, he has repeatedly praised the qualities that made Floyd so difficult to defeat: his discipline, defensive mastery, and unmatched ability to mentally break down opponents in the ring. Smith has often portrayed Mayweather as far more than a talented boxer. In his view, Floyd operated like a master tactician, someone whose focus wasn't simply on winning fights but on avoiding defeat altogether. Every decision, every performance, and every adjustment inside the ring reflected careful planning and elite-level intelligence, which separated him from nearly everyone else in boxing. For Smith, Mayweather's impact reaches beyond an undefeated record. He believed Floyd transformed the sport through control, precision, and his ability to dictate both the action and the attention surrounding his career. In his eyes, Mayweather's legacy represents the benchmark future generations of fighters will continue being compared to.
Mayweather was undefeated for the last half of his career with one hand. He constantly broke his hand.
Yeah.
He would go into a ring knowing he had no shot at knocking somebody out because his hands were hurt too much. And literally walked in the ring and said, I'm going to embarrass you and humiliate you by showing the world you can't hit me.
Following his retirement from professional boxing, Floyd Mayweather chose to move into exhibition fights. But the public response felt very different from the praise he once enjoyed during his prime years. As time passed, both fans and commentators began questioning the value and purpose of these events. One of the biggest sources of criticism came after his heavily promoted exhibition with Logan Paul. Although the event generated enormous publicity, much of the conversation centered around doubts rather than excitement. Many critics argued the matchup lacked legitimate competition, emphasizing that Paul's background as a social media personality made him an unusual opponent for a fighter of Mayweather's status. Stephen A. Smith was among those who strongly criticized the event. He openly suggested that the fight failed to deliver the level of seriousness or importance normally associated with Mayweather's name. In his view, the exhibition seemed driven more by business and financial gain than by genuine athletic competition. That criticism helped spark a larger conversation surrounding Mayweather's post-retirement decisions. Throughout his professional career, he earned respect through technical brilliance, control inside the ring, and victories over elite-level opponents in meaningful fights. However, these exhibitions appeared to shift attention away from competitive greatness and toward generating major revenue. As a result, some observers started wondering whether this stage of his career could influence how his legacy is remembered in the long run. While his accomplishments as a boxer remain unquestioned, this chapter introduced a new perspective, one where lucrative opportunities seem to matter more than protecting the image of an untouchable champion.
Boxers, if not the greatest boxer in history. He's absolutely sensational. But he retired years ago, and for me personally, I know these exhibition matches are entertaining. I like the one with Conor McGregor, not so much the one with Logan Paul. Looking at these exhibitions and all of that stuff, that little melee and stuff don't matter to me. As far as I'm concerned, it could have potentially been orchestrated. I don't know. But I do know not just anybody should be allowed to be in the ring with Floyd Money Mayweather.
Absolutely.
I just believe.
Stephen A. Smith's criticism of Floyd Mayweather extended far beyond a single exhibition fight, as he continued raising concerns about the direction Mayweather had taken after retirement. While Smith showed some understanding toward the matchup with Conor McGregor, mainly because of McGregor's combat sports experience, he believed the exhibitions that came afterward lacked the same level of credibility. According to Smith, the issue was never about Mayweather continuing to compete. The bigger concern was the type of opponents being selected. He argued that facing individuals with far less boxing ability or ring experience made many of the events feel unbalanced and left people questioning what the true purpose behind them really was. For a fighter whose reputation was built on focus, technical mastery, and competing against elite opposition, this transition became difficult to ignore. Smith suggested that these exhibition choices were beginning to slowly impact the carefully protected image Mayweather spent years creating. Earlier in his career, Mayweather became known for chasing greatness by defeating top competitors on the biggest stages under intense pressure. But in Smith's view, the motivation now appeared to be shifting away from competition and more towards securing enormous financial opportunities, though he believed that change was starting to affect public perception. Rather than being remembered only for his dominance and exceptional skill inside the ring, a growing number of fans were beginning to associate Mayweather with business-driven events centered more on profit than passion for boxing. In Smith's opinion, the warning was straightforward. Focusing too heavily on immediate financial rewards can sometimes weaken a lasting legacy. And for someone with Mayweather's status in the sport, those decisions could eventually shape how future generations remember his career.
Here's what I do know, which is where my disappointment comes from. When you are as great as Floyd Money Mayweather, everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space. I know you like to make money. You're never going to stop making money. Very, very few people on the planet know how to make money like you know how to make money. But some of this stuff has got to stop. You want to get Conor McGregor in the ring for an exhibition match? All right, that's fine. You know, kind of sold that. It was great marketing. He's not a boxer, but hey, he was a knockout artist in the UFC. I get it.
One of the most talked about moments in Floyd Mayweather's post-retirement career came after he was asked a direct question: why choose to fight Logan Paul instead of sharing the ring with an elite heavyweight champion like Tyson Fury? Mayweather's response surprised a lot of people. Rather than focusing on competition, rankings, or legacy, he pointed to audience size and visibility. According to him, Logan Paul's enormous social media presence brought a level of attention that made the event valuable in its own way. That explanation immediately sparked criticism. Stephen A. Smith was one of the people who viewed the answer as evidence that Mayweather's priorities had changed significantly. To Smith, the issue went beyond a single exhibition. It represented a larger shift in mindset. Instead of pursuing difficult matchups that could further strengthen his legendary reputation, Mayweather seemed increasingly interested in opportunities centered around exposure and massive financial returns. Choosing a social media star over a proven elite boxer led many to question the path he was now taking. For some fans and analysts, this felt very different from the version of Mayweather that once defined the sport through discipline, technical brilliance, and victories against top-level opponents. The focus now appeared to be moving more toward generating attention, headlines, and revenue than proving greatness inside the ring. Smith and several critics argued that this strategy could eventually alter how Mayweather's legacy is viewed. When popularity and business opportunities start carrying more importance than elite competition, public perception naturally begins to shift, and not always positively. Ultimately, that moment became more than just a simple answer during an interview. It symbolized a new stage in Mayweather's career, one where influence, visibility, and financial success seemed to dominate the conversation, leaving many wondering what truly motivates one of boxing's biggest icons today.
Why fight Logan Paul?
Name another boxer besides myself that's more famous than Logan Paul.
Tyson Fury?
What? I want you to look up Tyson Fury, how many followers, and look up how many followers Logan Paul has.
Logan Paul, 56 million. Tyson Fury, 4 million.
So 50 compared to 4 something. I can fight a fighter right now, guarantee myself 35 million. Or me and Logan Paul can go out and entertain and have fun and make 100 million or more. So if you were me, you gotta look at 35 million for 12 rounds and 100 for 6 rounds. Big difference.
At one point, Floyd Mayweather wasn't just dominating boxing. He was recognized as the highest earning athlete in the entire world. That level of success didn't happen by accident. It came from carefully planned decisions, perfectly marketed events, and an exceptional understanding of how to turn the sport into a business empire. His journey to the top was never based solely on winning fights. It was also built on timing, promotion, and the ability to transform every major moment into enormous financial success. Through blockbuster pay-per-view events and strategic business moves, Mayweather became an example of how an athlete could control both competition and revenue at the highest level. However, the image he spent years building is now beginning to face growing scrutiny. As rumors, reports, and speculation continue gaining attention, people are starting to question what once appeared completely untouchable. The same figure who confidently displayed his wealth, power, and influence is now under heavier public examination than ever before. The conversation surrounding him is slowly changing, from praise and admiration to doubt and curiosity. Some critics are now wondering whether the foundation behind that lifestyle is truly as secure as it once seemed. Is the empire supported by genuine long-term stability, or has it become an image that requires constant maintenance under increasing pressure? What makes the situation stand out is a sharp contrast to how Mayweather was previously viewed. For years, he earned recognition for his discipline, control, and precision, not only inside the ring but also in the way he managed his business and fortune. Now, those very same qualities are becoming subject to debate, replacing certainty with skepticism. As developments continue to unfold, both supporters and critics are beginning to reassess the story that surrounded his career for so long. What was once celebrated as a perfect model of success is now being viewed from a different perspective, leading many to ask whether everything was truly as flawless as it appeared from the outside.
Floyd Mayweather, the highest paid athlete, not the highest paid boxer, the highest paid athlete in the world. I had the opportunity and pleasure to be around him for many years. I was his personal shopper. I was a personal friend of his family. One of my greatest memories of being just lucky enough to even be around that environment was watching him train. Watching Floyd Mayweather train is a masterclass in discipline. It is a masterclass in work ethic. It is a masterclass in this is how you execute and get stuff done. Every rep, he hits it hard. There's not one lazy rep. He does everything at such a high frequency, so elevated. I'm like, goodness gracious, watching this man train, it's like, that's how I want to train for life. I've been to the club with Floyd where we leave in the club 3, 4 in the morning and he's still going to hit his 6 miles. He'll have all the cars follow him and he's running down the Las Vegas Strip, down back streets.
Tension began building following the highly publicized June 2021 exhibition match between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather after Paul claimed he never received the full payment he expected from the event's pay-per-view profits. Paul alleged that somewhere between $1 million and $3 million from his agreed earnings was still unpaid. Upset over what he viewed as unresolved financial issues, he openly discussed the situation during a 2022 interview with TMZ Sports, where he revealed that he was considering legal action. From Paul's point of view, the conflict centered around concerns involving financial transparency and the distribution of revenue generated by the event after all the numbers were finalized. Mayweather strongly denied the accusations. He insisted that Paul had already been compensated completely and explained that delays or misunderstandings surrounding payouts are fairly common in major exhibition events, particularly when several income sources are involved. However, Paul continued arguing that the issue had not been resolved and maintained that the terms of the agreement were not fully respected. Because of that, he remained interested in pursuing the matter through legal channels. The situation pulled back the curtain on a side of exhibition boxing that fans rarely see. Behind the massive promotion, celebrity attention, and huge pay-per-view numbers, complicated financial arrangements can sometimes create disagreements long after the fight itself is over. What originally started as a worldwide entertainment event eventually evolved into a dispute over money, showing how difficult financial management can become when sports, business, and celebrity influence all intersect at the highest level.
Or is that something that you can't disclose right now?
He has not paid me in full. That is a fact.
No
Short a few mil, yeah.
Wow. Still a few mil.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Have you been in contact with him?
Nah, we're taking this for the court.
No, are you being serious? Is this like a...
Do I look serious, lady?
You do. I'm just making sure. I apologize.
Really?
I'm just...
Nah, I'm not. Yeah, we're taking him to court.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So,
See you in the courtroom. Congrats, you're going to prison, Floyd.
Floyd Mayweather's story has never revolved solely around titles and financial success. Alongside his accomplishments in boxing, there has also been a long history of legal issues and controversies that have remained connected to his name throughout different stages of his career. Despite earning enormous wealth and worldwide recognition, Mayweather has repeatedly faced legal battles and court-related problems over the years. In some instances, those issues became serious enough that he spent time behind bars, proving that even fame and fortune could not completely shield him from legal consequences that end public appearances and interviews. Mayweather has occasionally spoken about the downside of the lifestyle he created, hinting that the same level of success that brought luxury and status also introduced intense pressure, constant attention, and restrictions on personal freedom. His legal problems have rarely been viewed as isolated events. Over time, different situations, including financial disputes, criticism connected to spending habits, and other personal controversies outside the ring, have helped create an ongoing narrative around his public image. As a result, discussions about Mayweather have often focused not only on his achievements, but also on the complications surrounding his personal life. While there is no denying his ability to build massive wealth, that success has also come with challenges far beyond boxing itself. Living at that level of fame has meant constantly navigating both praise and backlash, accomplishment and controversy at the same time. When viewed together, Mayweather's journey presents a much more layered story than simply an undefeated boxing record. It reflects the reality that behind the victories and financial success, there has also been a continuous struggle to balance fortune, public image, and legal pressure, making his path far more complicated than it may appear on the surface.
You know, I had 3 children with a young lady. We wasn't seeing eye to eye. You know, we wasn't seeing eye to eye. You know, she was a little upset, had a little alcohol in her system. She was a little edgy, and I told her, you know, basically I needed the keys to my truck. She was upset. She didn't want me to take the keys to the truck. So things got out of hand and blown out of, you know, they blow things up bigger than what things are really made out to be. So things happen.
But nevertheless, you had to do 2 months, right?
Yeah, I did 2 months for a misdemeanor, yes.
So what is it like to have everything and then not have freedom?
That's what I come to find out. Freedom is very important. Freedom is very, very important. And I'm just, I'm happy to be free. I'm happy to be back, in my children's life.
50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather Jr. have had a long-standing and often tense relationship, particularly when it comes to business matters and personal history. According to 50 Cent's account, there was a time when Mayweather was serving a jail sentence and temporarily out of the public eye. During that period, he claims he helped support and stabilize Mayweather's promotional business, investing money and contributing to its ongoing operations at a critical stage. From his perspective, this involvement was both financial and strategic, and he expected it to be recognized once Mayweather returned. However, the situation later became a source of dispute. 50 Cent has argued that his contributions were not properly acknowledged and that he was never fully reimbursed or credited for the funds he says he provided. This disagreement eventually escalated into public tension between the two. Mayweather, meanwhile, has denied that version of events, stating that he never formally asked 50 Cent to manage or take over his promotional activities, suggesting that any involvement was not based on an official agreement as described. That difference in accounts turned into a broader public conflict and added another layer to the long-running discussions around Mayweather's business relationships. For some observers, it reflects a recurring pattern of financial disagreements tied to his name, while others view it as a case of conflicting interpretations of informal arrangements in a high-pressure entertainment and boxing environment where money, trust, and reputation often overlap.
Anybody who knows Floyd knows he doesn't want to be alone. So in that situation, I was concerned about him because I went to visit him more than anyone else that he would call a friend would actually visit him. And it's because I knew that he put like this. He'll buy stuff for you to keep you around. His temperament, there's no balance. He can do anything and they still stay there because it's like they're
yes men, yeah.
Right, yeah.
A wave of debate followed the high-profile crossover bout between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Conor McGregor, as new comments surfaced questioning what the live event actually looked like behind the scenes. Former UFC fighter and analyst Chael Sonnen later shared an alternative perspective on the spectacle. He argued that although the fight was promoted as a fully sold-out mega event, the real atmosphere inside the arena may not have completely matched the broadcast presentation. Sonnen suggested that certain sections of the venue appeared partially empty from his viewpoint, even though television coverage showed a packed and highly energized crowd. He claimed that production techniques and camera positioning may have been used to enhance the appearance of a full house for global viewers, though he also described his own in-person experience, stating that what he observed did not fully align with a historic sellout narrative widely circulated at the time. According to him, there was a noticeable difference between the live setting and the way the event was presented to audiences worldwide. Beyond that, Sonnen criticized the modern entertainment approach in major combat sports, arguing that presentation and hype sometimes play as big a role as the actual competition. He suggested the focus often shifts towards shaping perception rather than just showcasing the fight itself. Despite these claims, official figures for the event remain record-breaking. The Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Conor McGregor is still widely recognized as one of the most commercially successful fights in combat sports history, particularly in pay-per-view revenue and global attention. Even so, discussions continue around the contrast between televised presentation and first-hand experiences, fueling ongoing debate about how much of modern sports entertainment is carefully staged storytelling versus on-the-ground reality.
You can trust the news. There's no such thing as fake. I'm working for ESPN. We're broadcasting the Mayweather-McGregor fight live. And to this day, they will tell you that's a record. That's the biggest fight ever. That thing was sold out. That place people were dressed up as empty seats. And I mean thousands of people. No. I bought my mother's ticket that day. That day, my mother decides that she wants to go to the fight. So I'm in there and I'm telling the world that this place is sold out because that's what's on the screen. And it's not even close. Yeah. This isn't like, it's pretty much full. There's thousands of empty seats. That was the first time that in my own life I ever just, wow, fake news is real.
Wow.
And then Mayweather, they wanted a rematch. They were begging. They were doing more media trying to get a rematch than they did leading into the first match. And the guys that wrote the checks.
But why didn't it sell out? I mean, it's such two big draws. They promoted it so well.
All anybody was talking about.
Yeah, there's still a number.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how big a draw is, there's still a number. If this guy got 100 million, this guy got 100 million, then you got to advertise it, promote it. You got to bring
It's the guarantees that kill everything. If they were just getting percentages, then obviously everybody would.
You're saying the seats were empty. I can understand it not making the money, but the seats being empty seems seems
peculiar.
Crazy.
Yeah, and there's nothing in the world where you have a pay-per-view hit that didn't have a live audience hit. Like if your live audience is your first focus group, isn't sold out, you didn't do pay-per-view numbers.
Sure.
But boxing will still claim that to this day. They still to this day claim that that's number one. And if you want to be the biggest pay-per-view in boxing history, all you have to do is claim it.
And that brings us to the end of today's story. Thanks for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for the next update. Until next time,